Deggs, you are here today hoping you are the biological father of the defendant's 3-year-old son, Jason. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test because you claim your ex, Ms. Guerin, first led you to believe that you were Jason's dad, but when the baby was 6 months old, she confessed that you may not be the biological father. You say Jason is the most important thing in your life, and you are praying the results today turn out in your favor.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Ms. Guerin, you admit you slept with another man at the time your son was conceived, but you say that was only after the plaintiff strayed. You, too, are unsure about your son's paternity and are desperate for today's results. Now, Mr. Deggs, when did you first find out Ms. Guerin cheated on you?
We were together about a year. At the time, we were moving out of my best friend's apartment. And it was just about that I got the truck loaded up with everything. And I went upstairs to grab my last box, and my best friend at the time pulled me aside and told me him and my brother had both slept with Megan.
What?
I was hurt.
They both?
Your Honor, he cheated in the very beginning of our relationship. It was even before we were a month together.
Ms. Guerin,
when he first cheated.
Boy, before you get to what he did, I want to know, is it true?
Yes, it is true. I do admit that I did do those things. I did cheat on him with his best friend and his brother. I was very young at the time.
Ms. Guerin, how did you end up with his best friend?
Well, honestly, it just happened. I didn't do it out of spite towards him or anything. It's not because I'm a bad person. At the time, I was lacking affection from him. He was never home. He was always...
I work, Your Honor. I work full time to make sure that her nails and her hair get done.
After he would get off work, he never came home. And he left me in the apartment all the time with a roommate that he knew was attracted to me and wanted to be with me.
And so you did what? You're home and the best friend's home.
Well, we were drinking and he was showing interest in me, made me feel pretty, and was giving me everything at the time that Jason was not, was actually being a friend.
And in that one day at work, he gave you everything Mr. Deggs never gave you?
No, I did not say that.
Your Honor, I loved her. She was my childhood sweetheart. I loved this girl.
If that was the case, then he wouldn't have cheated and said that he was going to leave me for his ex-girlfriend when she
That wasn't true.
Yes, it is true.
That wasn't
true
at all.
All right, so, Ms. Guerin, did you regret it, or you just felt like, I'm so glad he thinks I'm cute?
No, absolutely, I regretted it. It was awkward to know that I was keeping something from my boyfriend.
But you slept with my brother, too.
Yes.
You slept with my best friend and my brother. So if okay, twice the pain?
Ms. Guerin,
yes.
Please tell the
court.
Twice the pain. How did you end up with his brother, too?
His brother, I was really young at the time. And
you keep talking about how young you were. If you were so young, you shouldn't have been sleeping with everybody.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
that's fair enough.
How did you end up sleeping with his brother?
It was an attraction. He was paying me the attention that Jason was not.
Because I was at work.
I felt replaceable to Jason.
What did you want me to do?
I felt replaceable to him. So yes, I did look for affection and everything I want in a relationship in somebody else.
I moved you in. You paid nothing. You were taken care of.
You worked for the newspaper.
You moved out of your mom's. Yeah.
So you're like barely making it in an apartment.
But I still made sure that you were taken care of.
All right, let's get some order.
Mr. Deggs, what's your excuse?
Let me understand this.
She's a hoe.
After he slept with... All right. You two might not know how to respect each other outside of the courtroom, but in this courtroom, we must remain respectful.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, after you found out Ms. Guerin slept with your best friend and your brother, surely you were done with her.
No, Your Honor. I loved her that much that I wanted to work on it again.
Wow.
Because I loved her that much.
Because he knew he cheated from the gate.
No, because I loved you.
Okay.
I loved you.
Had you cheated?
Not until after. That's when I strayed. When you slept with my best friend and my brother is when I strayed.
I realize, Mr. Deggs, maybe you cheated as well. However, that would not affect the paternity of the child we're talking about.
Okay.
So I want to get to the point of when you realized you were pregnant.
When I found out I was pregnant, we had a lot of problems at that time. We had already cheated on each other. And then I met somebody else that was taking care of me, and I ended up sleeping with him while I was with Jason.
When you give birth to the child, He was there.
Yes, he was there.
I cut the cord. I've been there since day one, taking care of this baby and this woman. Since day one, Your Honor, I was there. And then she has the nerve to wait.
Mr. Deggs, you thought this child was yours.
Something.
Yes, Your Honor, I sure did.
No doubts in your mind. You're going on about your life.
Ready to get my family established. Make the family that I never had.
He was telling me how much of a cheater I was, how bad I was, everything. You're just...
Yeah, because I was still hurt.
Okay.
But I was trying to... Okay.
Do you understand why he was hurt, Ms. Guerin?
I'm not the only one that cheated in this
I had a rough childhood.
I've had to deal with so many different women.
But you're the one that's here with a paternity issue regarding the child in question, and you're the one that slept with his brother and his best friend, and you were the only one during the entire pregnancy that knew that there was doubt as to whether he was the father. So you got to understand at least why he could be a little hurt.
Of course.
I had a rough childhood.
Of course.
I wanted to be daddy.
I just want to say that I did decide not to tell Jason right away because I did want the family. I did believe that Jason was going to be a great dad, and
I am a great dad. I'm a great dad right now.
How important is this baby to you? You said you didn't have a great childhood. How important is the baby to you?
The baby is the most important in my life the most important thing in my life that's ever been important to me.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. During the entire pregnancy and for 6 months after that, you allowed him to believe that he was the father of this child, knowing in your mind that maybe he wasn't.
Yes.
That's correct.
That is correct.
Mr. Deggs, now take me to that day where, unfortunately, you got that bomb dropped on you.
I think we were in an argument, and out of nowhere she throws at me, "You're probably not even the daddy of Jason anyway."
No,
I crumbled right there, started crying.
I would never do that.
You told me after this long that I'm not the daddy and we're in an argument? What is it? Am I the dad or am I not? How you gonna break my heart like that? I love that little boy. And I know what it's like not having a dad there. So I wanted to be everything that I could be.
You love your free time and all the women that you
love
to
you love
go
your
hang
free
out with
time
more
and hanging
than
out
your
with this
son.
dude here. Because you left Jason for 3 months with your mom and me so that I could take care of him and you take daycare. What were you guys doing? You guys moved.
Let's get some order.
I just want to state that I have never, ever left my son and abandoned him, ever.
So, Mr. Deggs and Ms. Guerin, we need to go forward in our conversation because I'm trying to understand
The
from you
reason
both.
why I didn't tell him right away, Your Honor, is because I was truly at a horrible place in knowing what I did. But the reaction that I got from him, he was happy, and we wanted a family. We were together. I did stray away from the relationship, and I felt, can you please let me talk for a second? I let you say what you wanted to say.
Let her talk.
I don't need to play daddy. I actually take care of him.
I did feel like we could build a family together. And then, yes, I did have to tell him because I was struggling within myself of the truth.
It was
bothering me a lot.
Just that cold and callous. It was bugging you.
Absolutely.
And
it was
so
more trying to get it
after
off my
she
chest.
told you this, Mr. Deggs, and she was just honest and laid it out there, were you torn? Or were you instantly just done with it?
And I expected as much.
I was torn. If I'm the father,
leaving,
it bothered me every
out.
day. You know, I had so many different
Yeah,
feelings.
but you
What did you
weren't
end
man
up
enough to
deciding?
do anything about it.
I still stayed with her. I stayed with her.
You stayed with her again.
Again, I stayed with her, moved us into a house, was working again.
Okay, I want to hear from you, Ms. Marshall. Please stand up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for joining us today. Now, please tell us what you have to add to this.
Your Honor, I've known Jason since we were 13 years old. He's been one of my best friends, and then, yes, we started dating. The minute we started dating, all the problems came. Megan would blow up his phone. She texted him and was like, "You better keep your job, honey, because all I want is your money."
I never,
ever
said
and she
that.
was like, "You know, all I want is your money. All you
I
need
made
to do
my
is go
own
to
money,
work."
honey.
And you saw these texts.
Megan did not like me from the gate.
I never
Why?
lied
I don't
about
know.
her.
I don't
her.
know. I really don't. I never had a run-in with her. I never said nothing rude to her. I wasn't
How can
nasty
I
towards
not
her.
like somebody I
and then it was
didn't
just
know?
constant.
So-
Jason and I ended up breaking up because I just couldn't. I couldn't
'Cause
do
you
that to
cheated
him,
on him.
and I
'Cause you
couldn't do
cheated
that
on
to
him.
Jason. And I
Why
couldn't
don't you
do
tell
that
the
to little
truth?
So
Jason
Jason.
cheated on him too.
you're here today
Father.
because you feel as if Jason, Mr. Deggs, is a better parent than Ms. Guerin.
100%.
Oh my God.
Thank you. You may be
100%.
seated. Ms. Guerin,
Yes.
this is complicated because you have a new boyfriend and you say he's also stepped up to be
Absolutely.
a father.
He stepped up
Please.
beyond my expectations of.
Okay.
He's
All
done
right,
more
I want to
than
meet
Jason
your witness.
over the last
Mr.
3
Felton,
years.
please
Yeah, let's meet
stand
the new
now
wannabe
so
daddy.
we can hear your testimony from the podium instead of the chair. Mr. Felton, please stand now so we can hear your testimony from the podium instead of the chair.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, in your statement to the court, you actually said that you've been the father to this child, even though there's no chance you're the biological father, but you're saying that you are the man that stepped up.
I do things that a father is supposed to do. I
Right.
never try and take the place of his biological father because I'm not his biological father.
And what is it that you do for the child?
I take care of him. You know, when Megan's working, if I have the day off, then of course I'm taking care of him. If he needs to go to an appointment or something, make sure he gets there. It's fun to be around. Of course, he's a 3-year-old. He tests your patience sometimes, but I mean,
I know all about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your testimony. You may be seated.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What do you want from this, Ms. Guerin? Do you want Mr. Deggs to be the father?
For me right now, no, I do not want Jason to be the father because every weekend it's drama. It's another girl.
Mr. Deggs, what do you want from today?
I want to
wants
be
to
in
go his own
Jason's
way.
life. I love Jason.
No, that's why
With
he's
all my
called
heart
us
and
for the
soul.
last.
And if he is your son, are you willing to step up
Yes, of
in
course.
every way?
In every way.
And if he's not?
If he's not, then it's going to be really hard for me.
Jerome, I think it's time for the results.
There you go, Your Honor.
So ready.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics. In the case of Deggs versus Guerin, when it comes to baby Jason Deggs, Mr. Deggs, you are not the father.
And that's for the best. Honestly, it's for the best because he has only stayed this long so that he could get whatever benefit he's getting out of it.
Benefit?
But honestly,
What
Your
benefit
Honor,
am I getting for
Wait.
taking
No.
care of a 3-year-old child?
I am disgusted that you would perpetrate this lie on this man during your entire pregnancy up through a delivery room, let him cut the cord on a baby. I know you know good and well that wasn't his child. I could tell by the look on your face today. He was more nervous than you were. Sometimes I have to get up here as a judge and give what I think, but right now I'm gonna tell you what I think as a woman. Now, you sitting up there and you got a cute face, but you got ugly ways. That was wrong. And I feel like you have not wholeheartedly acknowledged to this man that you purposefully deceived him and allowed him to get attached to a baby that you can see your own new boyfriend, Mr. Felton, loves. But you let him invest his heart and soul and his money and his time, and then you sit up in front of this court and in front of me as a woman and suggest, oh, you just did that to get what you wanted to get out of it. What does he want to get out of it?
with still trying to be involved with me and also being.
Oh,
Yes,
I should have known.
that's a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it.
I should have known it was gonna be about you.
It's not about me.
Now, you're standing here, and the only one emotional on the brink of tears is him.
Because I'm excited, Your Honor. I'm excited I don't have to deal with all the drama that comes with
And-
it. I am. I don't.
Look.
I do not get anything from this man
And
except
once
for a
again,
problem.
who is it about?
It's about my son, and
Who
that's
is
why
it about?
I'm here.
No, no, no. You just said you're excited because you don't have to deal with the
Because I
drama.
get to move on.
I haven't
Me
heard
and
you
my
say
son get to
once
move on.
that you know, my son didn't know him as a father. I've got to figure out how to make this transition. You haven't
Your
said
Honor, I
one
have.
mothering thing up here since you got the result, and that's not good enough. Mr. Deggs.
You know, I've paved my whole life around this child, and now to know that I'm not his father, it kills me inside. It kills me inside.
Now you can move to California and do all the things that you said you wanted to do.
When a man is expressing his pain, and I'm just trying to have a pain you caused. Gavel all over the place. I'm talking about a pain you purposefully caused. He's just trying to tell me how he felt, but no, it's got to be about you again. Look, baby, you're going to have to learn something. This world now, you're a mother. It's not about you. Whether you want to admit it or not, your child has a love and attachment for this man because you made it so. Let me tell you something.
He could have left after 6 months.
Let me tell you
and then my son
something.
wouldn't have known him this long.
Listen, you know what? You know what? It is rare that I have to do this, but I can't even look at you no more. Jerome, escort her out. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Ms. Barrett, you are suing the defendant for $5,000 in damages for emotional distress.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim that the man standing across from you helped destroy your childhood.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Though the defendant may be your biological father, you say he has never been there for you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
In fact, you claim he wouldn't even show up for your mother's funeral when you were just 16 years old.
That's correct.
Mr. Jones, you deny Ms. Barrett is owed financial damages due to emotional distress.
Yes.
You argue you were there for her during her childhood, even though her mother admitted to you she slept with another man when Ms. Barrett was conceived.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are seeking the results of a paternity test as well as an award of $500 for money you say the plaintiff stole from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Barrett, first, tell me about your lawsuit.
I'm here today because I can't stand this man. He hasn't been there for me at all in my life. He was never there, never wanted to go to any of my birthdays. He claims he did, but he didn't show up to any of my birthdays. He claims he did so much for me when I was a kid. He wasn't there at all for me when I was a kid. My mom died when I was 16 years old, and I called him looking for comfort because he's supposed to be my dad. And all I got from him was that he couldn't go and to give my mom a kiss from him because he still loves my mom.
No. Your Honor, that's not true. That is not true, Your Honor. I felt that it was not right for me to be there. I was no longer with her mother. That's my past. This is my future here. And it would be disrespect to my new fiance of going to her mother's funeral, which she didn't even show up. For her own grandparents' funeral. My parents that passed away before her mother did.
So you're saying she didn't show up for your parents' funeral, and then you're saying he didn't show up for your mother's funeral?
They passed away after my mom had passed away, so no, I wasn't going to go to his parents' funeral after he didn't go to my mom's.
When you say you were experiencing severe emotional distress, Ms. Barrett, described to the court, how were you feeling?
I didn't have a mom or a dad. I had my grandma. My grandma raised me. Not him, not anybody else. It was my grandma and her husband that raised me and took care of me. My mom wasn't even there.
And so all your life you believe Mr. Jones to be your biological father?
That's what I was told.
Is he on your birth certificate?
No, but I wrote his name on my birth certificate when I was like 7 because I was told he was my dad.
Why are you not on the birth certificate, Mr. Jones? Did you have doubts?
Yeah, I did, because when she come into my life, when her mom brought her into my life.
So take me back. Were you there when Ms. Barrett was born?
No, I wasn't, Your Honor. I was with somebody else. She was not brought into my life.
Did you know her mother was pregnant?
No, I didn't until I was in front of a party store hanging out with my friends. Her mother pulled in and told me that she had to talk to me, which my daughter was in the back seat as a child. And
she was already born?
Yes, she was, Your Honor.
How old was she?
She was like a year at that time.
So you saw Ms. Barrett for the first time, you didn't even know she existed?
I didn't even know I had a child. They told me that her mother was pregnant by some other guy down south. So
you knew she was pregnant, but they told you it was by somebody
else down south, yeah. So I left well enough to be, and I went my way, her mother went her way, and then 2 years later, her mother brought her back into my life, saying, this is your
And what happened when you saw her, this child?
It shocked me, Your Honor. I mean, I was
And what did her
glad
mother
that she
say?
was, I was hoping that she's mine, of course.
You were?
Yeah, so of course, Your Honor.
Did Ms. Barrett's mother say she was your child, or did she say she may be your child?
She said she was my child, Your Honor.
Okay.
And then I took care of her from that day all the way up, Your Honor.
And Ms. Barrett, have you always been told that he was definitively your biological father, or were you told he was and then also told he wasn't?
As a young girl, by my grandma, I was told that he was my father for sure, no doubts. As I got older and I could understand stuff more, I was given more options and told that my mom was a wild teenager.
So as you got older, people began to tell you your mom may have slept with more than one person during that time.
Yeah, I was told it was actually close family members of him, a couple close family members of his. When I was 6 months old, him and my mom sold me to my grandmother for $100. So him saying that he didn't know about me or anything like that,
Your
I'm
Honor.
sorry.
They needed
Wait,
rent
I'm
money.
sorry. Can you repeat that? You said when you were
6 months old. I was 6 months old, and they ran into my grandmother and told her that they needed rent money. They were $100 short. My grandma said, the only way I'm giving you $100 is if you give me that baby, because I was in rags and not being taken care of.
Your Honor,
and they gave me to my grandmother and took the $100 and went home to their happy little house.
No, Your Honor, I'll tell you the truth, Your Honor. I'm from a well-do family. I don't need no money. You know what I mean, Your Honor? I'm well-to-do. And her mother might have tried to sell her to her grandmother because her mother was nothing but a crackhead. You know,
hold on.
You know,
Let's be
and
respectful.
that's why I left her mother.
Let's be respectful.
Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor, for disrespecting.
He's trying to make it seem like he was perfect.
Your grandmother just thought
he's
you'd
the
be
one.
better
He
off
told
with
me
her.
when I was younger too that he wasn't my father.
There are obviously doubts going through your mind. I mean, when
of course.
someone tells you your ex is pregnant, but she's pregnant by another man, you don't hear anything from her until child is, what, a year old?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
she pulls up and says, this is your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
What did you think her motivation was? Did you really think this is my child?
More money, that's all she wanted. Her mother was a gold digger, man. That's all she did was sit home, spend the money while I made it. That's all.
And so that knowledge fueled your doubts.
Yeah, it did. And I wasn't home as much as I should have been, Your Honor. You know, I was doing my thing, but I always made sure that she had a roof, she had everything that she ever wanted. And she can't call me a liar about it. She's had more than what half of these kids in this world.
But not from him. Not from him. From my
Ask her
grandmother.
about the motorcycles that I bought her for $4,000 when she was just little that I ordered from California. Ask her about the waterbed, the computer. What about me sending her
My
to
grandma,
Arizona
my grandma, my
and bringing
grandma.
her back? And
So, Ms.
the
Barrett,
bikes, the
did
clothing.
he ever say to you, I mean, to your face,
$300
that
purses.
He doubted whether or not you were his daughter?
Yes, he did.
He did.
He did
That's
say
a
that,
lie, Your Honor.
that he didn't think that I was his daughter. He also told my mom that. And he told my mom that he did not believe that I was his daughter, and then turned around the next day and said that he did, and he trusted her and loved her. He can say what he wants in front of his girlfriend, but he's told my mom since day one that he loves her.
I ain't never stated that. If I loved her mom, I could have stayed with her, man. I left her behind and moved on with my life, Your Honor. You know what I mean? You know, but I always made sure I was in the picture for my child.
But
Always.
did you say that to her? I mean, listen.
No, I have never.
Okay, so you're standing in court today saying you've always had doubts as to whether or not she was truly your biological child.
Well,
and yet, when I asked Ms. Barrett, did you ever express that doubt to her directly?
Right.
She says, yes, you did. But you say, no, you didn't.
No, I have not.
So what, you held it in?
Yeah, I mean, Your Honor, I wasn't there. Her mother showed no signs of her being pregnant when I was with her.
So my point is, did you or did you not look at Ms. Barrett and say, hey, I'm not really sure if you're my
Your
child?
Honor. I've never stated to this child here that I've ever doubted her being mine. You know, out of my mouth. And what I had inside of me is what I kept inside of me. You know, I didn't always.
You felt like that was not information that a young girl
should know at that age.
And to discuss with her.
Right, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Ms. Barrett, you say you live with Mr. Jones.
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
It was horrible. I lived with him for about a month. He was completely controlling. Completely. He treated me like his girlfriend, not his daughter. I was wearing a pair of Bermuda shorts.
What?
The Bermuda shorts, the long shorts, I was wearing those, and he claimed that I was looking like a
Yeah,
whore,
Your Honor.
so to speak. He wouldn't even let me wear them.
Your Honor.
And
Your
then
Honor,
he took me to the races with him and his friend, and supposedly I was shaking my tail feather in front of his friend.
That's all her and her friend did.
I was a 12-year-old little girl.
Your Honor.
Wait a minute. So wait, was he being an overprotective father? Where he
no,
was
he wouldn't even let me call my mom on Mother's Day.
It was.
He wouldn't even let me call my mom on Mother's Day.
Your Honor, there were 14, 15-year-old girls walking around my house all skimping at you. Ain't doing that in my home.
You didn't mind when you were hitting on her.
You know what I mean? All she did is she's a liar. She knows she's a liar. I mean, Your Honor, I told her that her friend had to leave my home because her friend was walking around with all these shorty shorts, and I told my daughter that her friend was not going to be in my home dressing like that. So I put her friend out. It made her mad, and then she wanted to move because her friend couldn't stay there. And I said, I don't want your friend.
And then you say you called the police on...
And I called the police and had her escorted out of because she ripped me off $500. Her and her friend went out and bought new shoes, new clothing.
I left your house with my Uncle Stevie.
Tell me what happened, Mr. Jones.
Okay, Your Honor, I left. I had to go do a couple of errands. So I left them money to get them something to eat. So I was gone longer than what I figured I was going to be gone. Well, I came back home. I unlocked the door, come inside. Well, her and her friend sitting in the living room, Your Honor, and they got all these bags laying around. So I said, Steph, where'd you get this? All she could do is sit on the couch and smirk at me while her friend smirked. So something just told me, go in my room and check. So I went in my room, I checked my thing. I was missing $500. I come back out and I asked her, I said, Stephanie, where's my money? What money, Dad? Trying to play me stupid, Your Honor. And I told her, I know I had $2 grand. I'm not dummy. $1,800. You took $500. When you come here, you both were broke. I said, where'd you get all these new clothes and everything?
So you come home and they're sitting around with
all new wardrobe, Your Honor.
New clothes.
New clothes, pizza boxes. They were having a good old party at my house, Your Honor.
Ms. Barrett, did you have all the clothes and the pizza and everything?
No, that's hilarious. Really, it is.
So you didn't...
So ask her, why'd I call the cops? Why'd the cops come and get her and take her?
And I didn't get taken by the cops.
You can contact Clinton County in Michigan, and they got a police report where I had her removed from my home, and it's on file that she ripped me off $500. They were going to take her to the juvenile home, and the only thing that saved her was I told the cop, just put her in the back seat of the car, Your Honor, and show her how this is what happens when you're a thief.
Yeah, that's what a real dad would do.
Mr. Jones,
that's what a real dad would do.
So I wanted to show her what
that's what real dads do when their kids mess up. But I didn't mess up and he didn't do that.
Did you bring any evidence of this arrest? This police report?
No, I didn't. I was...
No evidence as to this incident?
No, but I got pictures here showing...
As it relates to your countersuit, I have to say, I mean...
Yes, Your Honor.
You know, although your testimony rings credible, the problem is you have no proof. You know, when you bring a cause of action, a countersuit, you need to have some type of proof. The burden of proof is on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I have nothing. And for that reason, I have to dismiss your case.
Okay, I apologize, Your Honor.
Moving on. Miss Barrett, what are your hopes today? It seems like you've been through so much.
I hope he's not my dad.
And why?
He's not there for me.
Because I gave her too good of a life and she's selfish. Straight out.
He hasn't been there. He hasn't gave me... He should have been there to walk me down the aisle. I got married. Where were you when I had my 3 kids? He should have been in that room.
She didn't even call. She knows she didn't.
Did you call him, Ms. Barrett?
No, I didn't.
She
because
didn't.
The thing that he told me is
lie.
if he was going to be there, she was going to be there.
How can I be there? How am I supposed
to
know? She's supposed to have it at 2 in the morning. But I am not picking my girlfriend over my daughter or my daughter over my girlfriend.
What is the issue you have with Ms. Huff?
She's been unstable. She came to my house, mine and my husband's first date. She came to my house at 3 o'clock in the morning on drugs with 3 random guys.
Your Honor,
Ms. Huff, please stand up at the podium.
Tell the truth.
I went to her house with my 2 cousins, not 3 random guys.
If she was
and I
looking
was
for
not
me,
on
Your
drugs.
Honor, that's when she thought I was at my daughter's, but I wasn't.
All this money he has, she was coming to my house to borrow money for a taxi.
She's lying, Your Honor. I don't know where she gets these stories from, so.
She's like her mom.
Ms. Huff, do you or do you not believe Miss Barrett is Mr. Jones' biological daughter?
He's never said to me that he didn't think that Stephanie was not his.
And if I find out she's
All right.
not mine, I still love her, man. I raised her ever since she was little.
Thank you, ma'am, for your testimony. You may be seated. All right. We have heard a lot today. And from what I hear from your testimony, you held those doubts inside.
For a long time.
You didn't tell anybody, not even your girlfriend, fiance, or her.
Nobody, Your Honor. I just took care of her all of her life.
And so this has been hurting you.
Of course, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor, because I don't know if she is mine or not. But I was still there for her.
I think it's time for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of Barrett v. Jones, as it pertains to whether Mr. Jones is the biological father of Miss Barrett, it has been determined by this court that Mr. Jones, you are her father. You were suing for damages of $5,000 for it was negligent infliction of emotional distress. I have to rule based upon the legal evidence presented, okay? And negligent infliction of emotional distress also requires a legal cause of action, something for it to be attached or based upon. And that hasn't been presented as well, okay?
Okay.
And for that reason, I have to dismiss your claim as well.
Okay, Your Honor.
Judgment for the defendant. So, family, here we are. Life's about choices. You may not be able to take away the hurt and pain between the two of you, but focus on the children. Open your heart and see if you can maybe find a way to let him in a little, so your children can have the benefit of knowing their grandfather, because he wants to know them.
Yes,
and
I love
grandparent
that,
love is a special kind of love, and every child deserves it, okay? I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Court is adjourned.